What is up, everybody? It is another episode of a show enough divided. We are doing the week 9 recap and the week 10 look ahead. And as always, we are hoping everything is all right with Willie. He's in recovery right now. So Willie, we know you're watching. We love you. We hope you're doing all right. And we can't wait to get you back in and on the show again. So we will get started right here, right now. Alrighty, everyone. So as I said, we are talking week 9. So let's bring out maybe the winner of week 8, the still undefeated Kansas City Chiefs representative, Isha. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. And unfortunately, we do have to bring in, didn't have such a great week 8, hasn't been having such a great season overall, our Jacksonville Jaguars representative and spokesperson, Brian. How's it going?
Hey, I'm still repping. It's all good. It's all good.
Hey, as long as you don't stop repping, if you were repping in the good times and in the bad times,
that's right.
Then you know what I mean?
Got to take the bad with the good sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very used to that as a Bills fan for the past, aside from the past 5 years, it has been a very long and treacherous time to support the Bills. Alrighty, so we will get started. Looking back on week 9. So the Bills won in Miami, in Buffalo. We beat Miami on a 61-yard field goal. I don't know if you guys watched that game at all, but we have been screaming at management to get rid of that kicker. And then even in the game, he misses an extra point, and then a little bit later, he doinks one off the upright and in, so it counted, but it wasn't pretty. And then, so we see him come in, and it's a franchise record for distance field goal. We've never had a 61-yard field goal before. He comes in, and it would have been good from 80 yards. Like, he just drilled that thing right through the center, and I definitely jumped up and off my seat for that one. So I don't know if you guys watched it or if you guys have any thoughts on it or what happened.
Yeah, I did watch that game. And, Miami came to play in that game. That game probably should have gone to overtime. But, kickers this year are just been on the forefront, man. They've been in the light, it's crazy to even a kicker like you said, Bass. He's been struggling. Sometimes that's all it takes. 60-yarder.
Yeah, that's exactly the hope, is that a kicker who's kind of struggling with his confidence nails a kick like that, and you hope he can kind of turn the season around for him a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, it might do it. I mean, hey. You guys are for real. I mean, you got a good team over there. So
yeah, and like you said, Miami was kind of back. I guess they're back to being they're back with Tua. They're back to being kind of a full strength again, and so it was definitely nice to get that win for sure.
You watched that entire game, I assume?
Yeah.
Did you notice that Tua decided to scramble upfield, and same team that he injured himself on, and I saw almost the same scramble, and went head first. He didn't go feet first. I'm like,
yeah, I know. It was crazy. It was crazy because when he did that, like I was holding my breath for all of Miami fans and even just for Tua in general, like just holding my breath, hoping that it was all right. And then I saw him going head first, and I'm like, oh my God, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just slide, slide, don't dive, because the diving rules are different than the sliding rules. So you got to be careful for sure. So then the next game we can talk about, Tisha, you can get in on this one. Kansas City squeaks out a win against Tampa Bay, overtime.
Yeah, a win is a win. That's for sure. It was way closer than for me, than comfort for me. But yeah, like you said, I mean, we squeaked by again. So hey, I'm happy with it.
Do you think Tampa Bay is good? Are they just on like a hot streak? Did they just play well that game, or like what do you think?
Let me chime in on that. Just because that's my boy. That's my boy Baker. Okay. So I mean, the fact that he was able to, play as well as he did, and then also bring them back on like what was a game tying touchdown drive without his top two receivers. Like he's without Godwin and Evans. There's no telling what that game would have been like had he had those two. And so I think that you're seeing prime Baker Mayfield right now, and that's why the Bucs are legit. They're just they're hurt right now, and it's showing. I mean, that's even he's kind of hurt. I know he didn't practice today because of a toe injury, so I mean he's battling through stuff as well. So it's just it's one of those things, man. I mean, I do think that they're good though.
Yeah, because I wasn't expecting them to get any points with those guys being out, and maybe Baker just has that dog in him.
He's always had that dog. But Kansas City.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Kansas City somehow finds a way to win every single game, even when Mahomes looks like he either ruptures an Achilles or hyperextends his knee or God knows what he does there, and he still somehow comes back and wins that game. I'll never understand it. There's missed calls literally all over the field, so I'm not going to mention. I'm not talking in that game. I'm just talking in any game. The last drive, it's clear as day that there's a false start they didn't call. I mean, it was clear as day. Not that would have changed anything because it's one call, 5 yards, not a big deal. But they still missed it on the final drive in overtime. So, I mean, it's just crazy. Like they just figure out a way to win games. Yeah,
it's annoying. I think like overall, I'm not the kind of guy to be like this whole game is because of the refs. You know what I mean? Like there's because you can go back to somewhere in the second quarter and be like, hey, this was also a missed call, right? But when you're in overtime and when it does come down to the officiating in that particular moment, and so that part I find annoying. But I don't know. There's something about Tampa Bay. I put out a tweet actually earlier after the game, and I said, they might be the worst 8-0 team that we've seen since the Steelers went like 11-0 back in 2020.
Yeah.
Tisha's over here counting to 8 like we don't already know that they have 8 wins. We don't have to count on our hands, Tisha. We know that they have 8 wins.
Hey, listen. They can win as much as they want during the regular season as long as they lose one game in the playoffs. That's all I care about.
Yeah. And I don't know, but I have a really good feeling that they're not going to go undefeated because they have the Bills coming up, not week 10, but week 11. And I feel like that's kind of going to be the test for them this year. And we'll see how that game plays out, because that'll be interesting. I'll just leave it at that. And our show next week is definitely going to be Bills versus Chiefs heavy, Tisha. And I'm bringing the fire, and I'm bringing receipts, and I'm bringing it next week. So if you think I talk a lot now, wait until after we beat the Chiefs. Wait until after that game.
Hey, I'm gonna come to that one with a big old, just the popcorn, just eating popcorn. That one.
Yeah, we might need Willie back healthy to be the moderator.
Yep.
But yeah, I just don't think they look as good. Like even seasons before when they've had losses, they've looked like a much better team. There's just, I don't know. It just doesn't like.
We're riddled with injuries. I mean, it's terrible this year. It's been an awful year. That goes throughout the whole league. Honestly, it's been a really, I think, an unusually high volume of injuries this year. It just seems like there's just a ton. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, injuries affect everybody, but when you have Rashee Rice out, you picked up a running back off of his couch to come back and fill in for your two running backs that got injured. They definitely do start to stack up. And so now we will talk. I don't know, Brian, if you actually want to talk about the Jags. Are you done talking about Jags losses or what?
I mean, getting pretty used to it by now. So. No, I won't talk too much. I mean, it was pretty clear. I mean, that the defense just isn't there this year. It's just for whatever reason, whatever is going on, it's not working. And it's mainly in the secondary, which is shocking because I feel like they had a better secondary last year. But either way, it's not good. When you have a chance, they had a chance in this game. They played poorly in the first half. It was a real bad first half. They make a nice comeback that they kind of allowed us back in the game, and we should have won the game. Honestly, it's just that simple. But the defense essentially let them down on the last drive there, and that's what happens. Unfortunately, I mean you can't play that bad of defense in the NFL against anyone. So yeah.
So do you put it more? I guess by the sounds of it, you're putting it more on the defense than you are Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean we're 2-7 for a reason, so it's not just the defense. I mean, if you just had a bad defense but you had a really good offense, you're probably 5-3, or 5.
Exactly. If you're outscoring teams, you can overcome it.
Yeah. So we would be at least probably above 500 if we had a better offense, but Trevor Lawrence, outside of his one game where he played out like outstanding, and we won that game, it's like he has not lived up to what he needs to be and what he's being paid to be. So, that's all I want to say.
It's a lot of money in hair conditioners, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he needs to cut it. It might look weird, but
yeah, I don't know.
He might win.
I know you follow basketball. Speaking of haircuts, do you see Trae Young with the shaved head?
I actually have not seen Trae Young with the shaved head yet.
Apparently he just cut his hair. I just saw a photo of it today. It was jarring, and I imagine it'd be the same if Trevor Lawrence ever cut his hair. You'd be like, "What am I looking at here?"
Oh yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah. So next one, he's not here to defend his team. I don't think he has much to defend, but Burrow absolutely dominating the Raiders through 5 touchdowns. It's unfortunate, I think, that the Bengals got off to such a bad start because I think Burrow probably should be in the MVP discussion, but because the team is so bad, he's really not. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, Jamar Chase has been one of the best receivers in the NFL to this day, or right now,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't go off of like the actual NFL stats, but I know he's like the number 1 receiver in fantasy. So
yeah.
I know he's doing something right. But Burrow tossed 5 touchdown passes in this game, and he should have had 6. I mean, they would have scored in the last possession they had or whatever. They just didn't, So,
yeah.
I mean, they pretty much did whatever they wanted to.
Yeah, no, exactly. That Raiders defense made the Bengals offense, which has been struggling all season, made the Bengals offense look like they're the San Fran in the 90s, it looked crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's Tisha, maybe you can give your thoughts, but do you think it's more that the Bengals are kind of getting everything together, or do you think it's because they played the Raiders and the Raiders just aren't that good?
Try to be nice here. I think it's the latter of the two. It's just not a good year for them, just honestly, all around.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they should have been sellers at the trade deadline. I think they should have, cleaned house a little bit and tried to build for the future. All righty, guys. Our next segment is here. I know it's everyone's favorite.
Dummy. Oh no, you big dummy. You dummy. You big dummy. 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 Get lost, dummy.
Okay, so this is the you big dummy portion. And Tisha, you got to tell us, maybe from your game, maybe not from your game or whatever, a moment that made you say, you big dummy.
It's going to be like completely out of left field, but I have to say Jason Kelsey's lovely little outburst he had. Like, man, really? I mean, I get it, but really? Shoot.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was... I'm kind of torn. I was in support of Jason Kelsey on that move in particular. I like what he did, but I get what you're saying is like, hey, you're supposed to kind of be the bigger man in this kind of thing, and you're the big star, and maybe you just keep it moving a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm right there with you too. Like I said, I get it. I totally get it. But like he said on his Monday night football. Is like, well, now there's a video that's out there that'll be out there forever, and I'm like, well, yeah, you got to think about that first when you're that famous. I mean, I don't know if he realizes he's exploded or not, but he's a little bit more popular than he was a few years ago.
The offensive linemen, they kind of aren't really the face of the team ever, so you can kind of hide behind it. But since the podcast came out and since his brother started dating Taylor Swift, he's definitely, and since he's on the panel, he's definitely put himself out there a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he's missing
for
football.
Sure.
He needs to go back to football. He wasn't getting in trouble then. He wasn't making himself look like an idiot that much.
He had a way to release. He had a way to release the anger. He didn't have to. He could have taken that anger out on someone on the Dallas Cowboys instead of the college student.
Right.
Brian, what's your pick for you big dummy?
So, I mean, I'm not gonna.
Besides your franchise, like in general,
I'm not gonna pounce on the franchise anymore than I already have. My big dummy moment actually comes from the college ranks. Memphis, that receiver from Memphis, he did a Cristiano Ronaldo celebration after his touchdown.
Yes,
landed on his knee awkwardly and injured himself, and he's likely out for the season. So, like on a celebration, that's rough, man.
Yeah. So for me, I have two of them. One of them was because in the moment when the Bills brought out Tyler Bass on a 61-yard field goal, I was like, this is a bad idea. This is not going to go well. This is going to break the guy, and we will be looking for a kicker next week. So in the moment, I was thinking that the kicking it was the wrong decision, and we probably should have just played for overtime. My other one, and I want your guys' opinion on this one too, is I forget his name. He was a rookie. He's a rookie on the Jets. And as he was running into the end zone, he fumbled, he dropped the ball before he was fully into the end zone.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't understand. I don't understand why a guy won't just take one more step, and then you can celebrate however you want. Like you can jump into the crowd. You can that new trend of people doing the headstand. You can do that.
Right.
You can do all of that. Just take one more step first, though.
Right. No, you know what? It continues to happen because it's like they don't learn from seeing it. it's happened in the past numerous times.
Yeah, exactly. There was that one famous one in college there where the I think it was Houston, something like that, maybe Ohio, maybe something like that. The guy fumbled it, and the other team returns it for a touchdown. Luckily, this one didn't result in a touchdown.
Right.
But crazy. What do you think of that? What do you think of that fumble rule? Because technically, that became a fumble that goes out the end zone, and then it was Houston ball.
Right. I don't like the rule. Let's put it that way. I mean, if you fumble it out of the back of the end zone, I mean, realistically, I'm not a fan of you giving it back to the other team, but I think they should put it back on like the 3 or do something different. Put it on the 10,
put it on the 5-yard line and have it be whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't necessarily like the rule. But as far as them like fumbling it on the 1 before entering, that's 100% a fumble. If somebody recovers it, by God, they need to be disciplined for their idiocy for dropping it. And if you notice, majority of those that happen are typically defensive players that make a play. They're going to the end zone. They don't score very often. They're not a receiver, and they just, for whatever reason, they want to celebrate real quick, and they drop it before. I mean, very rarely do you see it happen with receivers. But.
Yeah. That's what I said too. I said that one on Thursday night is the only time I've ever agreed with that fumble rule, because you're being so dumb. You deserve to have the ball taken away from you on that one.
Right.
Normally, like when a receiver is like whatever diving for the end zone and the ball gets knocked out and it rolls out the end zone, it's like, well, that doesn't really seem fair. On Thursday night, it definitely seemed fair to take the ball away from the Jets.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah.
Alrighty. News from around the league. So first up, we have the Saquon reverse hurdle against the Jaguars. What did you think of that play, Brian? I'm assuming you were watching the game and saw it happen. I didn't see it happen live because I wasn't watching the game, but
I did watch it live. I had to take a double take just to see it. I knew I was going to see it a billion times on Twitter and everywhere else, so I didn't want to see it too many times. Look, my opinion on it, it's an incredible feat from somebody that's just special. But I also think it's stupid. I thought it was dumb because he's had histories of injuries before. So for him to do something like that and put yourself out there to possibly get injured again, because you don't know what's going to happen when you do something like that. I mean, and he knows his body. He knows what he can and cannot do. And I get that. But all it takes is that one person coming from the backside or the side to hit him, I mean, and it's just, I don't know. I just thought it was stupid for him to do, but it was cool to see, though.
Tisha, what did you think of that one?
I completely agree, 100%. It was cool to watch. I'm glad it wasn't, my team. I would have had a heart attack. But it's just too risky, if you want my honest opinion. I mean, come on, it's not that. Nothing's that important to risk it.
Yeah, that was kind of my reaction too. I think I said, please don't let Josh Allen see this clip. We know how much he loves to hurdle people. We do not need him doing reverse hurdles on top of that.
Yeah, it's not like he got that many more yards after he got like 2 or 3 yards after.
Exactly.
It was unnecessary. So
yeah, but really cool. Still, at the end of the day, a really cool play to see.
Yep, never seen it before.
Okay, Tisha, you're up here because we saw the big trade for DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs, and we saw him actually make a big impact, especially in the red zone. So tell us your reaction and your thoughts to watching D-Hop on your team.
I said welcome home about 4,200 times. Welcome home, buddy. Like, let's go. Man, he was balling. He was balling out, and that's I really enjoyed seeing that. So I think he's super deserving of it. And welcome home. If you're gonna go anywhere, go to the Chiefs. You want to win.
Brian, what do you think what do you think that addition does for the Chiefs? Do you think it changes? Like, obviously they've been 7-0 without him. But do you think it changes, that much?
I mean, he's obviously, even though I've been on record saying that I feel like he's washed, may not have been the best thing to say, considering he was at Tennessee with Will Levis, and so not a very good quarterback. So, I mean, obviously, him catching, that pass at the goal line with like 3 guys around him, it's like he's clearly still got the talent. Do I think that he is something that they need to win the Super Bowl? I don't know. I mean, we'll see. He's only going to get better and get more in sync with Mahomes, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. That's the scary part.
That's the scary part. And I think we're all forgetting at some point they're going to get Hollywood Brown back. And so they'll not only have Xavier Worthy, but they're going to have Hollywood Brown. And then DeAndre Hopkins is going to be even more of a threat at that point.
Yeah. Are we worried at all? I guess Travis Kelce's had a couple good games here now too, but he's definitely kind of shown his age, I think, a little bit in the first half of the season. Do you think maybe he's slowing down at all, or do you think that it was just the first couple weeks of ramping up to get into regular season shape, or do you think maybe he's doing it a little bit too early and they probably should have saved him for the playoffs a little bit?
You go ahead, Brian. I'll chime in after.
I mean, he is getting up there in age too, and it's getting close to the end of the road for him, as and so I don't know. I mean, I think he's still got it, and he's he's fine. He'll be okay. I mean, you could tell like early on that it was similar to last year where he didn't look really himself, and all they got to do is just make it to the playoffs, which looks like they're going to for sure. And then you're going to see prime Travis Kelce because he'll give everything he's got when he's in the playoffs. So,
yeah, I agree. I think he's still completely valid. Like I said earlier, this year we're just riddled with injury, so I think we're having to completely relearn, how to do it, how to win. Try different things, try different receivers, try different, so I think that had a lot to do with it. And also, everybody and their grandpa wants to, double team Kelce, triple team. They're gonna, he's super well protected or guarded. So that has a lot to do with it too. And I think that holy heck, what was I gonna say? I think the D-Hop coming in too is gonna help that, take a little bit of the spotlight off of him so he can make more of the big plays that he's really good at.
Yeah, definitely. I think that addition of D-Hop is, we were all kind of being like, oh, the Chiefs kind of don't really have it all together, and now this is kind of a piece that you're like, oh no, maybe the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. At the end of the day, I think they're still the Chiefs kind of thing. I think week 11 is going to be really exciting against the Bills. I think that, but I do think that maybe they're not in the greatest division. I think, with one arm tied behind his back, Mahomes could win that division. And, maybe they're with the age of Kelce and, the injuries that they've already had, I think maybe they're kind of ramping up a little bit early, but I still think they're the top dog in the AFC. That's for sure. NFC wise, I know all of our teams are in the AFC, but NFC wise, do we think the Commanders are legit? Are they an actual like top 5 team in the league, or where do you guys stand on that?
I actually do. I think they are legit. I think they have a good defensive coach in Dan Quinn there. And then they did a good job in finding their offense coordinator that's going to fit the system that works best for Jaden Daniels. So, Cliff Kingsbury obviously is very successful offensively. And so, we knew that was going to be the case. I think the one big thing that's kind of surprising is how well Jaden Daniels has performed, because it's all on, that rookie quarterback on how well that team is going to perform. Also, their defense has been pretty good for the most part all season. And at the trade deadline, they just picked up Marshawn Lattimore, and that's never going to hurt when you pick up Lattimore and add him to the secondary. So, Yeah, I do. I think at this point, the Commanders are going to win that division, 100%. I think they will. I don't see the Eagles winning it. Cowboys in last place. You got to love that. And, I mean, Giants are quarterbacked by Daniel Jones. So that's all I got to say about it.
Tisha, what do you think of the Commanders?
I mean, I have to completely. I agree. I agree. I think they definitely have a chance at being something that they haven't been in a long, long time. I'm excited to see, where it goes. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. They're a team that kind of feels like their ceiling is as high as they want it to be. They can go out there and surprise anybody and play well with anybody. I will say on the preseason show, I said Dan Quinn was going to be the coach of the year, and I got laughed out of the building. Okay. Willie almost had a heart attack when I said Dan Quinn.
Yeah, he might have played the you big dummy thing.
Yeah, I think so.
And look, and if he did, you need to ask him to pull that receipt. Because
I need to go back into our videos and see the reaction to that one for sure. Because I'm pulling out the receipts next time I see Willie. I'm pulling out the receipts for sure. Because I think he's right there in the running for it right now, and I think it's almost at the point where it's his award to lose right now.
I think so.
Alrighty, guys, are you guys ready for some rapid fire questions? I didn't send them to you on purpose so that I just need your honest, one word, quick answer. Tell me what you think. And the theme of the rapid fire questions this week is going to be the mid-season awards. So everybody, what you think, if the season ended right now, who do you give the award to? Okay, Tisha, who's your MVP?
Mahomes.
Homer pick.
Shocker.
Homer pick.
Come on down. Dude had an interception almost every game this season.
I think he has. He's got 9. He's got 9 interceptions.
He's got a lot.
Brian, who's your MVP?
Since MVPs typically, I know typically they don't go to running backs, but I would say Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry's been the MVP. That's my, I know that it'll never go to a running back because it's typically for a quarterback award, basically. But to me, the MVP of the season so far has been Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I hate that we just give it to the quarterback on whatever team is in first place, kind of thing. Yeah. I would agree. I think it's Derrick Henry. He's on pace to have another 2,000-yard rushing season. It's hard enough to win. It's hard enough to do that once in your career, and he's about to do it for the second time. So I think that's pretty special. But since it's probably going to go to a quarterback, I'm going to say it's Josh Allen.
I mean, he's done well. He's done real well. Homer pick. Homer
no,
pick.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. If Lamar Jackson isn't the MVP on his own team, how is he the MVP of the league?
I would have said Lamar Jackson, but because if you want to play by the rules, then I would have said Lamar Jackson. Then I was going to say Derrick Henry for offensive player of the year.
Yeah,
offensive midseason player of the year. But
yeah.
I want to be different. Derrick Henry would have been mine.
Okay, offensive player of the year. Brian, you're up.
Since I can't choose Derrick Henry, it's a tough one. Go to Tisha for that one.
Okay.
Come back to me.
She's going to say Kareem Hunt or something like that.
Yeah, something crappy like that.
You guys are terrible. No, here's the thing. I know that this hasn't been I'm supposed to make it quick. Sorry. I was going to say Mahomes. That's my bad. I don't need to explain myself. That's my chef face. Oh my god. He's made the best out of very little, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a shocker for my midseason offensive player of the year. Sam Darnold.
Hey, there you go. Okay. I was going to say Jared Goff, but yeah, I can get on board with Sam Darnold for sure.
I was going to say Jared Goff as well because every time I look up when I'm watching their games, he's like 11 for 11 or 12 for 12. You know, like, and I know that but I mean, I've watched most of a lot of their games, and it's more than just he's not a check down Charlie. I mean, it's 11 for 11, but he's throwing across the middle. He's hitting guys in corner routes. It's like he's not just checking down.
Yeah,
you know, so like I can see that.
Yeah, the only reason I don't have him at MVP is because they seem like more of a whole team. It's like their special team scores touchdown. You know, he throws the ball 13 times in a game, and so it's not strictly him that's impacting the game as much as it is special teams return touchdowns, defensive play as well. And, they got the two-headed monster running back. So, but I think he should be in that conversation for player of the year because he's had like 3 perfect games already this year, which is crazy. Yeah.
And I think if, I probably could have categorized, Sam Darnold as probably biggest surprise of the year.
Yeah.
That obviously would be my biggest surprise of the year. But, he's playing well. Vikings wouldn't be where they are without him playing like that. So,
defensive player of the year. Tisha, you're not allowed to choose Chris Jones, okay?
Can't do it.
What? That is not fair.
Or Nick Bolton. You can't pick Nick Bolton either, okay?
No, I'm going Jones all the way. I'm breaking the rules. There's no way. I mean, hey, man, he's solid.
Yeah, I know he's good. He's good for sure. Brian?
For real.
I'm gonna say Myles Garrett.
Okay.
I mean, he I don't know. He just seems like he's had, a really good year, and about the only bright spot on that team. So.
Yeah. For me, it's tough. I'm probably going to go with, what's his name? Xavier McKinney, the defensive back there in Green Bay. He's got like an interception almost every single game this year. He's playing really, really well. Or it's a toss up between him or TJ Watt. I think TJ Watt has just made he's had games where he's had 2 sacks, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and he just seems like he's a game wrecker. So I think I would probably lean towards TJ Watt. But I really, really like that Xavier McKinney guy.
Yeah, he's good. You could also throw one out there for Trey Hendrickson with the Bengals. Because I think he's leading the league in tackles for loss right now. And so I mean he's having a hell of a year. So
yeah. I think it's crazy that 3 of our choices were all in the AFC North. Right. I think that kind of speaks to how tough that division is.
Yep.
Tisha, you're up for offensive rookie of the year.
Offensive rookie. I don't know. Let me think about that one.
I don't even think there's a runaway candidate for it.
I would say, you're right. There's not a runaway candidate. I think Jaden Daniels kind of is out in front.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot about Daniels. Daniels.
Jaden Daniels is out in front. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is close. But if Malik Neighbors never got hurt, Malik Neighbors, he's catching 12 passes a game, it seems like, or at least being targeted. He's playing, really, really well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think I forgot about the name Daniels, but I think now that you said it, I think that's pretty much locked up. I think he locked it up on that Hail Mary pass to beat Caleb Williams of all teams. That's the other guy that everyone was saying was going to be the rookie of the year. So, and this one is tough. I don't know if I even have an answer. I don't even know if I know a defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys even have names for that?
Yeah. The Jared Verse, the defensive lineman or defensive end out of Florida State that went to the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looked really good for that team. So he's second on the team with 3.5 sacks, and leads that team in tackles for loss. So I mean,
no, he's been solid for sure. But I even remember saying it like at the draft, and like who even, it was so quarterback focused this year and so wide receiver focused. I'm like, I don't even know if we have any defensive players, aside from, well, we drafted Cole Bishop who is good, but he's not playing. And there's that Cooper DeJean in Philly, and they were really it.
He played well,
including Verse. That was really it for, kind of big names on the defensive side for rookies.
Right.
Okay, last one for you. Oh, sorry, we got two more. Comeback player of the year.
This one's easy, man. I'll stick with my preseason. Kirk Cousins. Cousins is I think he's having probably the best year as far as a comeback player. It was, and in the preseason, it was between him and Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers ain't looked good. So
no, Aaron Rodgers ain't it. Yeah.
So that's my pick.
Tisha?
No, I can agree with that for sure. And overall, he's just a hell of a guy. I mean, he's just a stand-up dude. But yeah, I think so. I think you're right on the money with that one.
Yeah, my worry is that they're going to go with Sam Darnold. Because he's having a good year, but it's kind of the same thing as last year, where like when they gave it to Flacco, but like the only thing Sam Darnold came back from was playing for the Carolina Panthers.
Right,
he didn't really have anything that he's coming back from. They gave it to Joe Flacco. Like DeMar Hamlin literally came back from dying on the field, and they gave it to Joe Flacco, who just happened to play for the Browns, and that was really all that he came back from. Right. But yeah, I think Kirk Cousins is the choice, because he's came back from an actual injury and missed a whole bunch of time and started on a new team, and it's not easy to come back and on a new team nonetheless, like learning a whole new system and all that kind of stuff while trying to battle back.
Right.
Last one for you, coach of the year. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but who's your pick for coach of the year? Tisha, if you say Andy Reid, I'm crawling through that screen.
That cheeseburger,
Waffle
House.
I'm crawling through that screen if you say Andy Reid.
It's funny you say that, Brian, about the Waffle House menu. It so looks like
Waffle House menu.
Trying to order the Waffle House. I'm like, dude.
Hey, not to go sidetrack. We got a little bit of time. Did you happen to see that guy? He comes to like every game, and he dresses just like the coach and has an actual Waffle House menu. And he's like got it out every time they're on offense. Like he pulls it out and he has it, and he's like acting like he's calling plays. That's funny. I'd rather see
actually
him
looks like Andy Reid too. He looks very similar to Andy Reid. He's not as big, but the face, he looks the same as Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I think I know who you guys are talking about. I think his handle like online is almost Andy Reid. I think
that's funny.
You have to look him up. I follow him on all the socials. Yeah. There you go. I said it.
Who's your pick, Brian?
So, I mean, as much as I want to say Dan Quinn because they're doing really well, I'll leave that one to you because I'm sure that's yours. But I'm actually gonna say Mike Tomlin. I actually did not expect the Steelers to be where they are at 7-2. The fact that he's handled that quarterback situation where everyone was like, "Oh, this is going to be the detriment to them," having Fields and then, Russell Wilson, and for whatever reason, they're still 7-2. And here they are, getting ready for the playoffs. And I mean, whatever decision he's making, it's working at this point. And I think that he's in the running for sure if they keep winning. So
yeah. And the other one I'll say, I'm not gonna say Dan Quinn because I already spoke about him, but I'm gonna go with Dan Campbell in Detroit. I think the way he's just the whole kind of I guess mentality and identity that he's built in Detroit, and it's kind of when you think of like a guy you want to go to war for. I see Dan Campbell, you know what I mean? And I think he's going to get a lot of credit because I think Detroit is the top team in the league. And, I don't know if the fact that it's been building, for the past couple seasons are slowly getting better and better. I don't know if that'll take away from it. Whereas like, Washington Commanders, they just brought them in and boom, they're good again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know how the voters will handle that one.
Well, I think, this was my preseason pick for Coach of the Year was Dan Campbell. And I still think that he probably ends up winning that in the end, just because I think they have the most complete team that plays they don't play for each other. They play for each other. They don't play for themselves. Like nobody on the team. That entire team is galvanized. It will run through a wall, for Dan Campbell. And so like you said, I don't know how the voters vote, but in my eyes, he probably still ends up Coach of the Year.
100%. So we're about to wrap up here. We'll just get to a couple comments. So here's from Level Up Sports. Hi, Mr. Mafia. So me and him go back and forth quite a bit because he likes to troll the Bills a little bit. So we go back and forth on Twitter. So
nice.
Thanks for tuning in. I tried not to speak too poorly of the Jets for you there. Perel Ryan Epting, go Chiefs. So I don't know. Sounds like he might be related to Willie a little bit with that last name.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sure that's got to be a little bit contentious at points between the Chiefs and the Raiders. Probably makes for some interesting dinner conversation. And then Herb and Rod podcast. Hey, some of my favorite people. So hello, you are also some of our favorite people. Thank you guys very much for listening and watching and, kind of coming along for this ride of nonsense that we call a show. So Tisha, your final thoughts.
Oh,
just wrapping it up.
Ahead?
Oh, sorry. I forgot about the look ahead. Yes, that's my bad. Okay. Look ahead.
Well, I really don't need to answer that because it's not really a game.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys are on bye week, eh?
Oh, are we? No, are we?
No,
I thought we played the Broncos.
No, they're not on a bye week. She said, she said this
Broncos
last year. Yeah. It was against the Broncos too when she said that. When she said it's not really a game, and the Broncos did beat them. So it's happening. It's like the world has come full circle around. So I
got to run. You guys talk. I got to run for 2 seconds. Okay, I'll be right back.
You're good. So
what do you think?
Prediction.
Prediction.
Chiefs are going to figure out a way to win the game.
100%.
This could be that game that comes up and bites them, though. There's always going to be a game. It could be.
It's usually the Raiders.
Thankfully, the Broncos, they play good defense, so they'll stay in the game. So, but I'm sorry, but Bo Nix has been okay. He has not been horrible. He hasn't been the worst rookie. Let's put it that way. But I don't know, man. They'd have to play really good defense and just hope that Mahomes is having him either out because he's injured or just,
Watch your mouth.
I'm just saying. He didn't practice today.
So what do you think the score of that game is, Tisha?
Chiefs by 1 million.
This is my first. This is my first season with you guys on this show, and I understand why every time, like Willie's always like,
yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, Brian, who's your matchup? What do you think the score is? How do you think it's going to play out?
We play the Vikings, so yeah, it's a tough matchup, very tough matchup. It's going to be. Hopefully, there's a lot of scoring. let's just put it this way. Pray for me. Pray for us. And honestly,
you can do it.
Honestly, Lawrence hurt his left shoulder, and so he made comments that he, is if he can play, he's gonna play. Statistically, every time that he's been hobbled with an injury, they've looked really bad, and he's looked really bad. So since they're 2-7 and they paid him a ton of money, might be a good idea to just sit him and start Mac Jones. All right, but all I want to see, if they do, is Money Mac Jones come out there and dominate. Can you imagine? It's going to be Money Mac Jones versus Sam Darnold. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, I if you want me to put a final score on it, it's probably if Lawrence is playing hurt, I don't know, 28-17 Vikings.
Yeah. I don't see that one being particularly close.
If Mac Jones is starting, 35-10 Jaguars.
Whoa!
You heard it here first. I hope Herb and Rod is watching, because I'm on the Money Mac train.
Oh, that's good. That's good. We needed a good laugh there. So we can.
They laughed at you too when you said you're Dan Quinn. I'm just saying, I'm all for you laughing, because once Mac Jones gets in that game, it's all over. He's playing for Hart, playing for Jacksonville.
Lose my mind if that happens. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, but all the power to you.
Crazier things have happened.
Definitely. So the Bills, week 10, we're playing the Colts. Don't know if we're getting Joe Flacco or Anthony Richardson. Hopefully it's Anthony Richardson, and he's, he can tap out and, be too tired to continue the drive. Either way though, I don't see. I'm pretty sure that the Bills are going to win that game, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be that close. We're getting Amari Cooper is back. I think he was able to be at least in practice today. I think our defense will play well enough against either one of those quarterbacks. I don't think it's going to be that close. I'm going to say it's going to be 35-14.
Oh, see, I think that'll be closer than the experts think.
Yeah.
If Joe Flacco starts,
is what it is.
Look, they forget they still have Jonathan Taylor, who's one of the best backs in the NFL. So,
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is a worry. The Bills' run defense in particular is a worry. We've seen what Jonathan Taylor has done to us, not last year, the year before. He can really gain a lot of yards and score a lot of points. But I think if you're running the ball a lot, you're not going to put up 35 points. He's not going to rush for 7 touchdowns to beat us.
Sure.
But anyways, that's my final take. So final thoughts on the show, Tisha, and tell us what you think, what you're looking forward to, those kind of things, and send us home.
I'm looking forward to 9-0, and then I'm really looking forward to a certain game where we play the Bills. That's gonna be great.
What do you think the chances? What do you think the chances of a little bit of a trap game for the Chiefs here against the Denver Broncos?
We were talking about it. I think there is.
It's possible.
Yeah,
it sneaks up on us when we expect it, because we get comfortable, and you can do that. So it's entirely. I said to Brian a second ago when you got up, I was like, it's usually the Raiders, which is frustrating, but I don't see that happening this year. But it could. It could. It's just whether or not we show up to play, we'll see. I think it's just going to be charged. So just Playing with the boys in the backyard.
Also, who's on bye week this week? Do we know?
I have no idea.
Besides the Raiders, I know the Raiders are on bye week and they need it. So
actually, just let me pull it up real quick because I know like everybody on my fantasy team this week is on bye week. I'm in a bye week hell right now on my team. So let me see. The Raiders, Green Bay is on bye week. Yeah, okay. Green Bay and Vegas.
Okay. I don't know why I thought the Cowboys were on bye week. They already had theirs, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Or no, they already had theirs. Okay. I was gonna say
every week is bye week for them.
I was gonna say can they beat the bye weeks? Dak Prescott might be out. He might be out for the next game.
Yeah. Nice. Brian, what's your final thoughts?
Let's I'm gonna go with my boys, the Sooners. All right, that's my final thought. They gotta beat Missouri because we hate Missouri. We don't like that state. I don't even like the state of Missouri. Kansas City plays out of Missouri. Like, I'm done with the state of Missouri, and we have to win this game to be bowl eligible because I'm not sure we can beat Alabama or LSU this year. So we got to win this game to go to a bowl game. So screw the Tigers from Columbia, Missouri.
And go Thunder. Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Thanks to everybody for watching. Most importantly, go Bills. We not that we need it, but pray for a win this week. And we definitely are looking forward to handing the Chiefs their first loss of the season. So we got to get through week 10 so that we can play week 11. And thanks everybody for watching. And you guys, thanks so much for joining. And we will talk to you guys next week.